On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day. We are heading into major election time, obviously, and things are going to get interesting. Also got some weird stuff on the schedule myself, so hopefully you guys will understand why I'm doing what I'm doing. But all said, we do have some news to cover. Kind of a slow day. It's Saturday. Typical Saturdays don't have a whole lot of news going on, but we will cover what we've got. Now, for those of you that are struggling out there financially, I want you guys to know a company called Aldi. I am actually not real familiar with these guys, but this Aldi guys, they're offering the lowest prices Thanksgiving, basically the same prices they were back in 2019, expecting to feed 10 people for less than $47. Not sure if Aldi's anywhere near you guys, but they are doing something kind of special to try to help with the Obama the Biden-Harris economy that we're living through right now. So certainly not cool. Now, this is something that's going around, and I think this is important, and I do think I've probably got some pretty hardcore Christians in my audience. I've been preaching about getting out there and voting. Hopefully I've helped, but apparently there's a large population of evangelical Christians that are not planning on voting. That might not be a good thing. I think we kind of need everybody to help, specifically people that are God-loving or fearing, depending on how you like to say it. I don't like to say God-fearing. God's my best friend, so I don't fear my best friend. I love him. I talk to him every day. I just can't imagine being scared of him. It's just weird. He's the first thing I go to, like why would I be afraid of that? Silly. But needless to say, I get where people come from. I guess they're worried about their souls, which again, I work for God, so I'm not real worried about that either. I feel like I'm doing the best I can to help. So all said, we got to do what we got to do as individuals, and voting is a huge part of that. By mail, however you got to do it, but let's vote.
49% of evangelical Christians surveyed right now say they're not going to vote.
Wait, how many?
49%.
Dang.
That's my brothers and sisters in Christ, because they're disgusted with the quality of the character of both candidates in their minds. That's what the thing comes out. And that's understandable. 16% of gun owners say they're not going to vote. And that's just because they don't want to get on the grid. They don't want anybody to know where they are, because some of you are just weirdos, okay? And you don't have to be a weirdo. You don't have to be a weirdo to have a gun. I've got guns.
No, I will vote. But I do think they know a lot about us.
They know a lot about us. I don't think voting is going to cause them to know more or less.
I know. Okay, keep going.
So here's the thing. You're not voting for a savior. If so, neither one of these would be qualified. You're not even voting for a pastor. If so, neither one of these would be qualified. What happens in your house is more important to your success than what happens in the White House. But what happens in the White House does affect your life, and to not vote at all out of disgust is bad decision-making paradigm. You should make a list of the 8 or 10 issues that are out there and which side each candidate falls on. And regardless of the candidate themselves, I don't believe in voting on a single issue. If you want to vote single issue voter, you can, but I don't vote on a single issue. There's not a single issue that I will vote on above everything else. I mean, there's things that are more important or less important, but there are people that say, okay, pro-choice or pro-life. I will not vote anything except that on any other issue. I could disagree with them on everything, and they'll still get my vote because of that. I don't believe in that. I believe in looking at the whole thing and saying, okay, there's the economy, there's inflation, there's interest rates, there's taxes. Which candidate falls on the side of those things that you believe you can fix or that they're going to impact? There's the border, the immigration issue that is real. Which candidate falls on that? Check the box, right? Check the box. Pro-life, pro-abortion. Okay? Well, it's Democrat and Republican very clearly on that. Okay? Although Trump is not going to do anything on a federal level for pro-life. He's just going to let the overturn of Roe v. Wade run its course and the states decide. Kamala is going to be pro-abortion, period. And they've said this very clearly. I mean, it's a standard plank in their party, okay? Pro-Second Amendment. There's no question which one you're going to check there on which. If you're pro-gun or you're anti-gun, okay? If you're anti-gun, you need to vote for Vice President Harris.
Even though she has one.
If you're pro-gun rights, just because you got one doesn't matter. If you're pro-gun rights, you cannot put a check over there. And I'm not going to vote on a single issue. Okay, if you're really concerned about the the social issues around woke.
Can I jump in? What about writing in a name? Does that count?
You can, but I think one of these two is going to be president, and you should participate. That's
yes,
what I
but
think.
if I have a conviction as an American to actively vote, because I do believe in that.
Yep.
If someone out there just to even, practice that action, write someone in.
Yep. So I'm going to tell you, I'm voting for Donald Trump, not because I'm voting for Donald Trump.
Are we going here?
That's okay. But because I checked those boxes, and more of those are on that side than on the other side. I'm going to hold my nose, and I'm going to vote.
I might.
Again, I may not fully agree with everything he said, but I agree with the direction and what his concept. I mean, I agree with basically the guts of what he's saying. I don't necessarily think. I mean, right now, I think it is down to, for a lot of people, like, who do I like more? But again, that's not how elections should be. It is not a popularity contest. So many of us go back to what it was like back in high school. It's kind of funny how we do that. So again, we need to do the right thing. Something that's pretty amazing. So during Hurricane Helene, a woman in Georgia woke in the middle of the night and heard a persistent voice in her head telling her to move to another room in the house. Just after she did, a tree fell on her home and destroyed the entire bedroom. The only thing left standing in her bedroom was her Bible. Her grandmother had given it to her, and the Bible survived. Look at that. Her grandmother's Bible survived, and likely might have been where the voice came from. Who knows, right? Now, this is just fun.
Read it and answer.
Public place, you did it. Oh. Is this the best or the worst? What do you do?
The best.
Okay, the best. Probably the Obama thing.
What? John, what's the? Oh God.
Oh God.
John.
What?
What is your wife talking about?
I don't know.
We heard Obama in there.
Chrissy, get back in. What happened?
We're not going to discuss that.
We're not going to discuss it?
We're not. We're
Right,
not.
okay.
Oh my God. Secret Service. Come here, jump back in.
Hi.
Look at John. Look at, I don't.
Hi.
We're not talking about it. That's the truth.
That is an awesome answer.
Not the White House.
Not the-
It was
It
not.
was not at the White House.
It was
That is
100%
correct.
not at the White House. I promise.
He was not elected yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, we're moving on.
I'm sorry.
So yeah, there's a picture too of Diddy and Obama at the top. So there's a lot of story. What it comes down to, it's been said. Musk was saying it, and a bunch of people have been saying it. I'm saying it too. Everybody on the Epstein client list, like if you looked at name for name and then looked at who's actually come out in support of Kamala, those lists are probably like, copies of each other. And I'm sure Obama's on that list as well as many other foreign leaders probably. Macron, think about Trudeau. A bunch of these guys are going to end up on this hit list. So this is going to be tough when the push comes to shove, but we will see how things play out in the big picture. Just because it's funny, kind of. So this was the pass for the rally that was happening in Tucson. Oddly, they spelled it wrong. Tuscon. Tuscan is not how you spell Tucson. In fact, it's Tucson. Tucson's how I always like to pronounce it because it's how I remember to spell it right. T-U-C, right? S-O-N. I suck at spelling. That's pretty messed up. And Barack Obama being featured, they can't even spell the dang city right. That's got to tell you something. Now, we've got two interesting sides to this. I heard like 3 different versions, and every single one of them, I couldn't tell what the person said. We do have a version where you can hear it. So we're going to start with this part because it was well done, and then we'll go to where you can totally hear what they said. But this is pretty cool.
So a few weeks ago, I attended the Trump rally here in my town. Before I dive into what I'm about to share, here's a peek at that. Well, today I found out that Kamala Harris was coming to my town, so I decided to go. I wanted to see the differences. Notably, I had to show my ID to get in to see her. But anyway, I was making a video talking actually about how sad I was that the loudest cheering at the rather small event came in support of abortion when I panned over to the crowd and to her speaking, and I caught something I wasn't expecting. Check it out. Not a lot of energy here, but everyone just cheered and screamed for killing babies. So that was disappointing. Anyway, here she is. Did you hear that? Some guy in the crowd shouted, "Jesus is Lord." And Kamala said, "I think you're at the wrong rally." And then she said, "Try the smaller one down the street." Everyone laughed and laughed and cheered, but I was at that rally. There were almost 7,000 people at it. Today they said there were 2,500. Nobody waiting. Open spaces. I wanted everyone who's a believer to hear that for themselves.
Again, we're not going to be gaslighted on this. We remember Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
She is so friggin' retarded. It's just unreal. But yeah, so there's that. Now here you can actually make it out a little more clearly. This is kind of cool. So you can hear him say it there, and then she says, "You guys are at the wrong rally." Think about that for a second. The concept of someone, especially when they're talking about abortion, talks about Jesus and God, and then says, "You're at the wrong rally." Does it feel like a battle of good versus evil to you yet? Again, you evangelicals, who do you want to vote for? Seriously, who do you want to vote for? You need to vote for somebody, or else she, who doesn't seem to like God, is going to be your president. And if you're a God-loving, fearing person, then shouldn't that concern you? I would think. Pretty messed up, though. Well, very messed up, actually, I think. In my opinion. You can't make this stuff up. So this is kind of funny. This guy on CNN's talking about, and he's alleging, by the way, he doesn't even know for sure. But we'll go ahead and play it first, and then I'll give you my feeling.
And then also there's just this idea too of, a few years ago, if we would have said the huge role these social media platforms and algorithms play in elections, if you were to say there is a partisan running one of these platforms who could easily tweak the algorithms, we have absolutely zero insight into what Musk could be doing in terms of elevating pro-Trump messages algorithmically on the platform and taking down pro-Harris messages. We just don't know. And then also there's just this idea too of, a few years ago, if we would have said the huge role these social media platforms and algorithms play in elections, if you were to say there is a partisan running one of these platforms who could...
I hate how that happens. They always trick me. They trick me. They start repeating themselves, and I'm like, wait, he already said that. Damn it. Damn you. There it is anyway. So they're afraid that Musk might change the favoritism towards Republicans or towards Trump or towards MAGA, making America great again, or towards getting the deep state to break out of our system, or government efficiency, or, all the things that we're ultimately pushing for. But it's funny is they don't remember just the short period of time ago where conservatives were shadow banned, where anybody that talked about vaccines, for example, or anybody that talked about the Ivers, or anybody that talked about any number of things, that the election was questionable at best, or the machines themselves. Any of us that talked about any of that stuff was shadow banned, or just outright banned. And so here they are, afraid that it might be fair. And this is the thing that's killing them right now, because they don't realize how many of us there are that actually feel this way. They've actually truly been thinking that they were in the major majority. And so right now what they think is this got to be bots. This has to be bots. When in reality, most bots have been stopped on both sides of the fence, by the way. Yeah, there's still some, but majority of bots are being dealt with every day, especially on Twitter. Can't speak for Telegram. I think Telegram's got a huge problem, but it is what it is. And in fact, just warning, guys, I know a number of you out there, maybe a little bit on the older side. If Telegram, I've been noticing, the advertisements on Telegram. None of those channels yet. I have yet to see a channel that's advertised that's legit. So every single one of the advertised channels that claims to be somebody of significance, it's not. I promise you, it's not. Be careful. And then anybody that's reaching out to you direct message, always assume the worst. Always. And then let them prove otherwise. But the burden of proof lies on the individual that's reaching out to you in a direct message. Unless you know them, don't trust them. Even if they claim to be somebody. It's very easy to type on the screen, I am Donald Trump. Doesn't mean I'm Donald Trump, does it? Nope, but it's super easy to do. It's also easy to use AI to fake things. So be very careful, people. Very careful, especially if money's involved. Do not give access. Do not give passwords. Never ever click links within something. Find out where it is they want you to go and go there manually yourself. Do not click the link, or unless you're savvy enough to right click and get a copy of the link and actually analyze it and make sure it's not a stupid link. But be very, very careful, people. Very careful. The deep state is taking all stops out. They are desperately trying to kick our asses and kind of doing a good job at it, frankly. Stooges at ABC are left speechless. This is kind of funny. They go to hop over to the Kamala Harris rally. Apparently it ended early and she wasn't taking any questions. Surprised anyone? It's kind of funny how it plays out. Check it out.
I want to take you live now to a rally that's happening in the battle state. It looks like it just wrapped up. So do we know what she was taking questions on?
Is this thing on?
Okay, I got the. I want to take you live now.
So that didn't go well, did it? Nope, not well at all. But he must be at the smaller rally down the street. Whatever, you freaking tard. Some of the most vulnerable Democratic senators in this election are using the close stretch to boast about their ties to former President Trump. We've got a lot of Demis trying to pretend like they're like buddies with Trump, that they actually don't like Kamala, that they actually don't like Biden, that, hey, we're more on your side. I'd be really careful. The ones that actually renounce and jump from their party, I say, is a bigger deal than those that are still Democrats but claiming to be on our side of the fence. Again, I'm actually very open-minded to anybody on any side with any letter next to their name compared to most, but right now, no, don't trust. Sorry, this close to the election? You had months to bail out of your party. I get you were too big a puss to do it. Sure, gotcha. So you shouldn't be in office. We don't need pusses in office. We need stellar rock stars in office. People that are willing to take the chance. People that are willing to put their neck on the chopping block. Not people that are afraid of everything, afraid of the boogeyman. The Booba Yaga. He stabbed a man with an effing pencil. God, I love that movie. John Wick is good stuff. A reporter asked Kamala Harris, here was another chance for her to basically renounce Biden. But she's like, no, that's just not cool. You don't do that. Okay, so you accept and acknowledge everything that happened, and you are accepting that you agree. So this whole idea that give me the reins and I'll finally give black people a chance. Where have you been for 3.5 years, 4 years now? Where have you been? Certainly not helping black people. No. In fact, not helping the white people, not helping the black people, not helping brown people, at least Americans, helping all sorts of people from everywhere outside of this country, but definitely not helping Americans. You don't give a shit about Americans, camel.
President Biden said this week that every president has to cut their own path. What is one policy that you would have done differently over these last 3.5 years than President Biden?
I mean, to be very candid with you even including Mike Pence, vice presidents are not critical of their presidents. I think that really actually, in terms of the tradition of it and also just going forward, it does not make for a productive and important relationship.
Yeah, so basically it's not good to peel over your president when you're the vice president. Makes sense. Whatever. So a large group, 140 people crossing Eagle Pass You know, because she supports everything that's happening, and she is the border czar, too. Thought this was more of a report, but yes, as you can see, insane numbers of people just pouring across the border right now. Pouring across the border, not good at all. Federal judge blocks Alabama's voter purge. Ahead of the election, they were literally going to remove 3,000 people from the state voter rolls, and the judge said, no, you can't do it this close to the election. This is, again, we better be able to see the votes, the voters who voted. And if we can see that after the effect, we don't have to know information, but know it's a registered voter, and yes, they did vote. And if we can pin that back to whether or not we had dead people vote or illegal people vote, we're going to have some major Supreme Court stuff going on. They are definitely going to try to cheat. I'm hoping if we can get all the evangelicals out there and all the people that own guns out there, hopefully it won't be necessary. But again, we might have a very different path if we don't get everyone to go out and vote. Everyone has to go out and vote. It's insanity if we don't. Insanity. So, folks, please do your part. Here's Tulsi Gabbard talking about a neat little thing that used to happen, except Democrats aren't supposed to be a part of it, which is funny.
Congress, I think it's on Constitution Day, there is a reading of the Constitution on the House floor from start to finish. Those members of Congress who choose to go and participate in it go and read a section, people taking turns until you go through the whole thing. The first year that I found out about this, I volunteered and I wanted to go down and be a part of it. And I don't remember who told me this, but someone told me, because there were not very many members of Congress participating at all. And I questioned someone about why that was. The answer that I got was, well, a lot of Democrats see this as just a right-wing conservative thing. To go to the House floor and read the Constitution. That, as you said, every one of us, as members of Congress, obviously those of us who wear the uniform, same thing, raise our right hand and swear to uphold. And that was very disturbing. When you look at the results and you look at the fruits that tree is bearing, you get it.
So again,
Congress, I think,
funny that Congress, should be reading the Constitution. It's something that should happen. It's just very symbolic. It's why they're there. Yet Democrats consider it to be a right-leaning thing. It is what it is. People are crazy. Here's some more pro-Trump stuff that's pretty cool.
Hey everyone, November 5th, Election Mania. Choice is yours. You can go with President Trump, Kane, and The Undertaker, or you can take Kamala Harris, Dave Bautista, and Tim Walz. Choose wisely. The nation depends on it.
And that should be an easy
choice. It better be an easy choice. Tell you just got to have faith in humanity sometimes. I have a hard time with it too. Ex-CDC Director Robert Redfield. He's going to be joining forces with Trump and RFK Jr. on this whole Make America Healthy Again. I love it.
I think we're at the same stage for those of us that really believe that making America healthy again is possible. And I think Kennedy's passion on this issue right now, combined with, I think, a commitment from the president when they've gotten together, this is a real opportunity. America, as I say, lost over 1 million people, from COVID, and you had other countries like Taiwan that lost less than 5,000 people. What was the difference? Is that we're just a sick nation, and it's time for our children. And I have 14 grandchildren now. It's time for our children, and it's time for even those of us that are older. We really have to turn around what the major impact of our health system right now, which is this enormous epidemic we have of chronic disease. And I just think it's very believable. I'm in my 70s now. I probably got another 10 or 15 years of productive life as a doctor. I'd like to finally see us change the focus to health. And that's why I teamed up with Kennedy, because I think he's passionate about, he believes in this. And the most important thing about him and this issue is he believes it can be done. If you don't believe it can be done, we should stay on the sidelines.
Amen. Again, I'm so happy to see people waking up. This is such a cool time. I literally just never thought this was going to happen. I thought I was nuts. It seems to be happening. So very cool. Trump had serious sound problems at his Detroit place. He literally, I guess, walked around for 17 minutes. That's what they said. 17 minutes that he was left without sound while they tried to work through their sound problems. Kind of funny because that's sort of a major, I don't even want to say rookie move. Like, that's something else altogether. First off, anything that's wireless, new batteries, always. You never, ever, ever go into something like this that's this important and be like, yeah, I just changed them yesterday, though. No, you put brand new friggin' batteries in. Like, you check the sound, you test the sound. The sound then gets set. Like, no one touches it. Once you set it, you don't touch it. You don't spin knobs, you don't do nothing. You might mute something, sure. You got an on-off, basically, button. But outside of that, no. So this is insane. Doesn't happen. Shouldn't happen. Really weird that it did. But 17 minutes of just walking around. No microphone that worked or anything. Trump couldn't talk, which had to have really bothered him. A lot of things are crazy these days when it comes to the economy and everything else, and there's certainly a whole lot of uncertainty. One thing that's happening that's really cool right now is we've got the ability to get out of their system, out of the deep state system. Stop letting the deep state use our wealth, our years of hard work against us. And this time now, we can actually take that, turn it sideways, right? Go sideways with it, tax-free, penalty-free. Go into precious metals that protect during times of crisis in economies. Gold and silver are spiking now. This is one of those things where I don't know how much longer these commercials are going to be worth doing. We are that close to something crazy happening. The economy is not good. They tell us it is. They keep insisting it is, but it's not. And people that know, and they're doing things about it. And precious metals is one of the best things you can get into at times like this. When we get to the top and precious metals are worth the most they've ever been, well, that might be a time to maybe try to get into something that makes more sense, maybe. Or we'll see. We don't know what's coming, folks. But I think staying in their system is something that you probably want to consider or at least think twice about. Go to drslikesgold.com. That's drslikesgold.com. You can get out of their system tax-free, penalty-free, get into a precious metals asset, and protect your wealth. It's one of the best things you can do in a time of crisis like this. Gold and silver have always done really well. Silver just hit a record high yesterday, and gold as well is in a great place right now. This is the time to consider radical decisions. Please think about it. Maybe not as long as you want, but you might want to spend some time. I'll tell you, my good friends at Goldco will answer every single question you have, and they can make it as efficient as possible. There's e-sign and all sorts of great stuff that you can do. Now, again, read stuff, understand what you're getting into, get the bottom dollar, get the bottom line, have them explain it to you, whatever you feel like you need to do. But we are at a place where you might want to consider not staying in their system because, frankly, you know how they want to rape all of us. You stay in their system, that's what's likely going to happen. You get out of their system, that means you've taken ownership of your wealth and put it into an asset that's actually doing well. You now own your wealth. And it's physical, too. It's in a trust. It's actually in a physical location. It's yours with your name on it. Physical, actual precious metals. It's not paper contracts. Oh, we owe you. No, they have it. You could actually say, give it to me now. And they would. So, again, if you cash out right on the get-go, you're going to get hit with penalties and taxes. You're going to get raped. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Go sideways. Tax-free, penalty-free, sideways. Get the precious metals. Get the process going. And then maybe down the road, maybe having, no. You got ideas. You got thoughts. Something to think about. You'll pay taxes on it. You'll pay penalties then. You take the precious and you say, I'll pay it out of my own money. I've got some cash put aside. Or just let IRS come look for you. Or just pay it. However you want to do it. You've got options. Options that you won't have if you stay in their system. drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. Get out of their system before they get out of you. Not that I rejoice when bad things happen, ever, but what I do find always ironic in life is usually some of the most vocal asshole people out there generally have some of the most effed up lives. And again, when it comes to the deep state and all the stuff they do, deep state abuses their children or has very abused children. They share them with their other members. It's just, again, it's not a good life. I actually, like I've said before, I've known, I didn't meet in face-to-face, but was very close over the phone for a number of years with one of them. And they are very messed up people. They have a very hard time. So this is Rosie O'Donnell's daughter. She's had her child taken away from her because she was found passed out, I guess, with paraphernalia. It looked like crack or meth paraphernalia. And her child was right there with her. So her child's been taken away. But again, very strange how, some of the people that are the biggest, I used to think Rosie was funny too back in the day. I remember when she first came on the scene and first started doing stand-up, she was very funny. And it's just strange how either A, she wasn't bad yet, which is my guess, because you know the way the industry works, and then she got into the bad stuff, maybe started doing the, the achrome, who knows. But, yeah, her child's a mess, unquestionably. Not good. Very sad. SpaceX is going to be awarded a big old contract with the U.S. Space Force, $730 million to launch at least 9 national security missions. It probably has something to do with their new version of Starlink. Probably. The real good version of it. I think they're just probably trying to get more and more of those satellites up in space because they're obviously trying to get off the regular GPS platform. It's prone to all sorts of issues. It's easy to jam and block. It's been around forever. Extraordinarily old technology. So reasonably sure it's already been replaced, and I think Musk is probably continuing to enhance. And maybe some other cool stuff that they're putting up there. Who knows? Drone strike was launched from Lebanon towards Netanyahu's house. He wasn't actually home at the time. I don't know if it did a whole lot of damage. It sounds like, I don't know, they're kind of making a deal about it, so it sounds like it might have hit the house. And fortunately, no one was home. So, yeah, there was nobody in the building, so there's no casualties, thank goodness. But it did hit the structure, I guess. Okay, yeah, hit a structure in the area of Caesarea? I don't know how to say that. Caesarea? I don't know. They talk really funny over there in Israel. Yeah, they have that whole language and stuff. It's crazy. They speak what, Hebrew? Is it? I think it's what it is. Anywho, here's Netanyahu talking about it, which is kind of a weird image. He doesn't look I don't know, it's just strange. I don't know why they did this, but I think it was his way of just as a plain clothed individual, he's like, yeah, look, we ain't scared of nobody.
Prime Minister, how is it going?
Well, 2 days ago, we took out Yahya Sinwar, the terrorist mastermind whose goons beheaded our men, raped our women, burnt babies alive. We took him out, and we're continuing our battle with Iran's other terrorist proxies. We're going to win this war.
So will something deter you?
No.
Prime Minister, how is it going?
Nothing's going to deter. Nothing will stop us. Nothing will keep us from passing go and collecting $200, I say. And that is how it's playing. China's Xi calls for troops to boost war preparedness. Right before the election, this would be the opportune time to do crazy stuff because we are going to be a mess. So right at the election time and right after, China knows we're going to be a mess. This country will be a mess after November 5th. It's going to be, I don't know what's going to happen. We'll probably have a constitutional crisis at some point, I figure. Again, get out of their system. DRSlikesgold.com. DRSlikesgold.com. Get out of their system, man. I don't know how much time we got, but it ain't much. I'd get out. But yeah, China's preparing for war. Yeah, war in Taiwan. That's going to be good for the stock market. And finally, John Rich put this out. Jelly Roll's talking about how he just learned how slimy the music business is this week. Don't worry, y'all. Know I'm going to expose it soon. This whole thing is smoke and mirrors, y'all. All that shit Russ be talking about is real. Of course, I'm doing my best to sound the way he typed it. John Rich, country singer, white guy, says, is that right? Hey, Jelly Roll 615, you need to bow up and push back. Tell the people what's really going on behind the scenes. You were made for such a time as this. Standing by, J.R. John Rich. Which is funny, because at first I was like, Jelly Roll? Why is he signing as Jelly Roll? And I was like, oh, his name's J.R. too. That's funny. But yeah, he, I don't know. We got a lot of stuff that's coming out. It seems like the dams are breaking. Deep State's losing. I think this is part of the October surprise. It's the 19th. A lot of things are going on, and life is getting crazy. So stand by, guys. Be strong. Be a part of the change. Get out and vote. Because where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.